Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of the Puddle Jumpers, aka the D&D Express, where we do quick little episodes of D&D at 1 hour or less. I hope you guys are enjoying the story so far. Our adventurers just found themselves next to Ralph as he puts his foot up on a bench and just about to tell a story. In our previous episode, the 6 members of the party got a chance to talk to the king and the queen and instructed to find out why Pandoria is currently losing water more rapidly than ever. It hasn't rained in Pandoria in a very long time, and it's up to these 6 people to find out exactly what is causing this issue. So as we continue on, Ralph has his foot up on the bench and just about to tell a story. So in front of you guys, Ralph basically is just sitting there. You can tell that he now understands who you guys talk to inside the town, and he's just beginning to kind of tell you guys like what's up kind of thing. So so you talk to the man with the paper upside down. I can tell exactly who you're referring to. And what did he tell you?
Well, he told us to come find you. Other than that, he said you would give us guidance.
He told you to come and find me. Okay, well, I'm in that case.
He told us to tell us a story.
A story.
True.
A story I can tell you. I don't have much time. I have to get back to my house and collect all and add up all my prize winnings from the gambling tonight. But
friend, you sound different. Is everything okay?
Do I sound different? He didn't have an accent yesterday. Did he? I don't think he did. I think that was a shopkeeper, wasn't it? Anyways, it doesn't matter. The story goes as told, as far as I remember it anyways. And I've been here for a long time, but I've been in and out of the city, whether I've been kicked out from the king himself, but managed to find my way back in so I can continue to gamble every night that I please. But a long time ago, have you guys ever heard of a town called Droudington?
Have we?
Probably, yes.
So Reno can roll for it, or aka Rockstar.
Rockstar, only Rockstar.
What am I rolling?
So you're gonna roll for a history check.
That's a 13.
13. Okay. So you've heard people mention a different town, or sorry, a different country, but not actually the same name as what you're hearing him saying right now. So he's saying Droudington, and you're kind of thinking of a different name, but you don't remember what name he's talking about. You do remember though. Roll another d20 for another history check.
That's a 3.
Okay. You do remember something completely different, but never mind. It's nothing to your recollection as to any more description about the town. But you do remember that it's a different name than Droudington.
I'm just gonna nod and agree. Mm-hmm.
If you guys remember anything about Droudington, it got its name after slowly becoming what the city is starting to become itself. A long time ago, Droudington was a lot bigger than Pandoria. Kings and queens would come and go as they, appeared at the balls and hung out and partied outside in the city. A lot larger than Pandoria, and slowly it began to do the same as it is now in this city, until eventually it was known as Droudington. Before that, it became harder and harder and harder to find more people to stay inside the city until everybody basically just deserted it, and now it's a wasteland. And all that I can tell you at this point is if you're going to be seeking out any information of what to solve the issue that is happening in Pandoria today, you're going to need to find your way into the next town. I can tell you only one person to speak to there. My friend Gilly, the one who kind of taught me all that I need to know about gambling itself. If you speak to Gilly, I'm sure he's going to make you gamble for some sort of information, but if you do speak to him, make sure you have a little bit of gold on you, because he doesn't let things go lightly. But that's all I can tell you right now. I have to get going. I don't have time to sit around and tell stories. Remember?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we get to Droughtington.
How do you get to Droughtington? There is no Droughtington. Droughtington is gone. It's been gone for years.
Then what town are we supposed to go to? Where's
Yes.
Gilly?
Yeah,
Where's
where is
Gilly?
Gilly?
So as he basically points to a sign, or like inside, like where you're at, there's a bunch of little signs that, once again, they're bubbles and they have like little letters inside of the signs, and you can see that he's pointing to a sign that reads out Clamville. If you head over to Clamville, you'll be able to find your way to Gilly. And once you get there, make sure that you don't necessarily ask for him like you asked for me inside of the tavern. That would not be a good idea. Gilly's not one to be wanted to people to know that he's there.
How are we supposed to find him?
Just
Yeah.
look for a bunch of people gambling, whether it's outside or inside of a tavern or in any sort of establishment.
This
Does
is
he-
something we can do. Do you have a story to tell us now?
You already told us
I
about
already told you the
Drownington.
story. Were you not listening?
Does he have like a code name or anything we could ask for?
Does Gilly have a code name?
Yeah, like something not saying we're gonna jump into the room and say, "Hey, where's Gilly?" Do you have a nickname or anything for him? Kind of like a code.
From every time I've met Gilly, I've always called him Gilly. I wouldn't give him any other nickname than what he already has.
Sound advice.
Thank
Alright,
you,
I can
friend.
find him.
So where he pointed to, so as soon as you kind of finish the conversation, he just packs up, grabs his bag that's sitting on the bench and kind of begins to walk away. He gives you like the peace sign as he walks away.
Does he have fingers? What is
He has
doing?
little
He's an
fins,
alligator.
little
He's
fins,
an alligator.
like his little like like flipper feet kind of thing, or little claws.
Well,
So
Let's
off
leave
the
this
top-
wretched city.
no, I think we're still in the same city.
One more
Oh,
thing
that's a-
before I leave, and he interrupts like as you guys are just talking to each other. Be careful outside of Pandoria. It's not as easy going as it is in here. You're not going to want to you're not going to want to go off the beaten path. The beaten
Yes.
path.
Is
And he
is
just continues to walk away.
Clamville out of the country? Are we leaving Pandoria?
I think he's gone.
I look at the group. Do any of you know where Clamville is? The sign points, but
Well,
I assumed it was outside of the city, not outside of Pandoria.
Do I know
well,
where Clamville is, DM?
I have never been this way.
Do you guys know where Clamville is? Does I will let Rockstar roll once more again to see if he can find out where Clamville is, or at least the direction.
16.
Okay, so you can tell that Clamville is just another little city outside of the area. Clamville is not a country. Like I think Nick thought it was a country. No, it's not. It's not. It's you're thinking of Droughtington. But anyways, yeah. So it's just a city outside of a little town outside of Pandoria. So if you go into where like all like the little signs are and like all like the the little arrows that you see with like all the bubbles around and stuff. It's basically just if you're kind of looking outside the town, you're probably going anywhere from, I don't know, probably like a day or two kind of walk to get there. It is pretty far, but as you mentioned before, you're going to be you're going through the ocean. So you're going outside of Pandoria, which is in, as I mentioned before, like a giant bubble, kind of like we showed the picture how it looked yesterday. I unfortunately can't post it for the people that are listening to the podcast, but it's basically like a giant bubble city, and outside of that, so you're kind of going outside into the actual giant pond.
You mean going outside of Harrington?
Harrington, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we're still
Not
within
Pandoria, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like,
Wait,
are we
wait,
leaving the
wait,
Sorry,
country
sorry,
or are we
I'm-
leaving
I'm-
the city?
I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm confusing Pandoria with Harrington. I'm sorry. So you're going outside of Harrington, but you're still within Pandoria, because Pandoria is a country. I can probably confuse
we
the shit
go.
out of you guys. Yeah, Pandoria is the country. Harrington is the city that you're in right now, and you're going to a small town, or you need to go to a small town called Clamville.
Okay.
Okay.
But you
So
do know
as
that it's
I-
a day or two, not walk, swim, I would say. And as he mentioned before, be careful. But that's about it.
Okay, so as I remember, it's around a day or two travel, and it's another city outside of Harrington.
Yes.
More cities.
Yeah, we should follow the signs though.
Perhaps we should leave at once.
Does everybody have everything they need?
I am prepared. The pond provides.
I will take out the 3 gold coins that I stole from those sharks. I am ready.
I will be putting my armor on all of my legs.
Okay. Mr. Muck, roll an investigation.
Investigation, okay. Ooh, natural 1.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Never mind. All right, so you guys are all kind of just like suiting up and putting your armor on and stuff like that as you kind of get ready to leave the city?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you guys doing anything while you guys kind of travel along? Are you guys gonna like talk and stuff, or are you just gonna kind of just travel and just
I think travel and remain vigilant.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell stories.
You can tell stories?
Tell me
Yeah.
your story, rock star.
So this city and everything, I'm wondering, I haven't been to Clamshell before, or Clamville, but I'm really excited to see the world,
Yes.
I prefer being outside of cities and towns. They're disgusting.
Towns
I
are
can
for
agree with that.
thievery.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. But
Do any of you have any theories on why the pond is drying up?
well, I don't know.
A big hole.
Perhaps.
Magic.
Ungrateful souls not giving worship to the pond.
I think it means treachery.
Yeah. I really wonder what happened to Droughtville. Or Droughting.
Droughtington. Do you know what Droughtington was called
Well,
before?
I remember hearing stories of a city, but I mean, I don't remember anything. I didn't even think the name was Droughtington, to be fair, but I just remember there was mention of another.
Strange.
Yes.
Then again, I don't remember things very well.
Nor I, friend.
Okay,
And
sorry.
we're walking and talking.
You're
right?
walking and talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for you guys right now, how much? So, did you guys take like what kind of explorers pack and stuff like that? Did you guys take? Did you guys decide on what you guys were? What do you guys?
I have an explorer's pack.
Okay, so how many rations do each of? I'm just gonna write them down here. How many rations do each of you guys have?
Danielle has 10.
I have 10.
I have to look it up.
I am trying to look it up too.
If you have an explorer's pack, there's 10 rations.
Yeah.
Dungeon pack also has 10, I think.
Then I have 10 rations.
So basically, on average, each of you have 10. I'm assuming.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Are any of you guys like efficient for like hunting and stuff like that while you're out there?
I am.
You are.
I
Okay.
have survival.
You have survival. So without using your rations, would you say that you're spending a little bit of time during the day trying to like go out and like hunt like little minnows and stuff like that so you guys can eat?
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Okay. So, during the days kind of passing by, you guys spend a little bit of time, wandering along the seas and like the seabed and searching for like crustaceans to like munch on and eat along the way as you guys kind of are you walking along like are you just like swimming out in the middle of the ocean, or are you kind of trying to find not the ocean, sorry, the pond I should say.
What does it look like outside of this?
So
Like,
it's
what
Is
is
there
it?
like a road?
So when you're walking out, like you can see that they've used like giant crabs to kind of push like the sand on the sea, like on the bottom of the pond, like aside. So it's kind of like a road, but on like the left, it's just like a giant like sand hill, and like the right is another sand hill. You could either decide to walk on there, where you can kind of see other people other fish kind of walking back and forth between where you guys are, like in and out of the city of Harrington when you guys are leaving the city. Or you can also just swim ahead if you'd rather not walk on the path. It's completely up to you.
Like you can go up and around.
You can go up and around. Like you don't have to follow what the little sand, the little sand road that you guys are on right now.
I feel like we should take Ralph's advice.
Yes,
He said,
stay
"Stay
on
on
the
the
path.
beaten track."
So you're gonna stay on it. Okay.
Yeah.
So traveling along, you guys, like I said, you guys manage to continue to find little things to eat here and there, and you're making sure that you're staying on the road that Ralph told you to stay on. And as you kind of venture out, you manage to see more signs that lead to Clamville, and as you kind of pass by, you can see the signs begin to get like nicer, and they're more. Some signs are even like a lot more shinier. They look like they're made out of some sort of like pearl kind of like sign to kind of like reflect the little bit of light that's coming into the pond. So you're kind of noticing that things are getting a lot more fancier as you begin to approach this little town. And as
How
you
long does it take us?
so right now you've been traveling for about like a day. I would say for you guys, because you can't just go out and fish. Like it's not like you're just gonna eat other people that are walking on this path, right? You're gonna have to go off this path to find like little crustaceans.
That's what. At what point, like, what constitutes a person? Like, are the fish among us people,
You can.
or are they food?
We know, Nick. We live here.
Is
I'm
this
asking-
It's not like
cannibalism?
you're gonna go up to somebody who has like a beautiful like shirt on or something like that and like decide to eat them just because. You can
So
if you
it's-
want, but I mean, if you guys want to do that.
So are the fish in the wild not people?
They are. You can like, for example, okay? So we have a catfish. We have a little snail, which I'm assuming the snail is just eating like little like pieces of grubs and stuff like that or
Like
whatever they can
poop.
find. Yeah, exactly. The beta fish is most likely just eating like any like super tiny little organisms that it can find. And I would say the only one among you that could probably eat another one of the group would probably be the catfish. And I think if at any point Gilliam decided to eat another fish, that is completely up to you. Catfish pretty much eat anything, so you could decide what you want to do.
Do starfish just like
Starfish,
Like,
cycle
out
through
of
fat?
starfish eats generally like algae and stuff like that. So I mean, you'd be out there like eating that if anything. I don't think you could digest another fish. You could, whatever you guys want to do. What are you thinking? What do you guys want to eat?
I just assumed that we would eat the minnows that
Yes.
were captured.
I'm
I
going
would
to
just eat something that's floating in the air around me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll eat whatever Poe brings me.
Okay. So yeah.
Yes, I prepared your meal, Muck.
So passing along plenty of other fish, you can see Gilliam like licking his lips, but the rest of the group convince him to not eat people walking by, the other fish people walking by, and instead Poe managed to prepare a few meals and hands out little pieces of fish here and there and algae that she manages to find along the way, and that's kind of how you guys sustain yourself as you guys go through the travels. But halfway through, as I mentioned, you see a bunch of signs, and they're pointing in all different directions. You see a sign for Clamville. You see a sign for the giant hill. You see a sign for what is the other town as well called? You see another town name called the Broken Ship, and you trek on towards Clamville, and as soon as you guys can kind of see in the distance, you're able to see a bunch of shells, just like as if somebody dumped like a bucket of empty clam shells, just like inside of one area. So it's like a town made of just like a bunch of shells, and they're just shells of every kind of different things. You find like the shells that you would I'm trying to think of the name of them that you could like put up to your ear and you would hear like the sound of the ocean. Yeah, the conch. Is that what they're called? Yeah, okay. And they're just some are broken, some are nice, and you can see little lights coming from each individual one. So you can kind of tell that from what you're looking at is most likely people's homes that they've set up inside of these shells. And you have arrived at Clamville, or the outside of Clamville, I should say. You're still probably maybe about a 10-minute walk. Like you can see it, you're just right in front of it. You haven't entered into the town yet.
As soon as we have arrived.
Yeah, we made it to the town. Nice.
Hmm.
So we don't know where Gilly is, right?
No,
I'm
we
assuming
have
we
this
should.
whole town to search.
Probably like an inn or something where people collect and drink and such.
Yeah, I think we should.
Somewhere
look
they
for-
gamble.
Hmm.
Is
Should
there
look-
like an entrance, or is it just like an open?
An entrance to the town?
Yeah.
Is there like a wall?
No.
Is there a bubble?
No, it's not guarded. It's not like the city that you were just in. It's not guarded by guards on the outside. it's just an open. You can go. There's no bubble or anything like that. The cities looks a lot more fancier because you do walk into a bubble, which allows anybody to basically go in there and breathe air or water if they please. Breathe in the air or water if they please. Like when you guys were at the tavern, the crocodile basically was just like had his own like little bubble in his head. I forgot to mention that while he was gambling and stuff like that as well too. So it was kind of yeah. But if you're just looking on the outside of Clamville, no, it's just there's no bubble on the outside of it. You're still in water. You're still in the pond. It's not as fancy. It doesn't have the magic that Harrington has around it.
Well, perhaps we should begin looking.
Should we split up?
No.
Never mind.
Who knows what the taverns look like?
Well, are there any signs, DM, for like taverns or anything?
You're on the outside of the town right now, so you could, if you guys want to walk into the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assumed we were.
Okay, so you're just gonna walk into the town. So as soon as you approach the town, you can see people you can hear like loud noises and stuff. Like it's from what you can tell, it's almost, not like Vegas where, lights and everything are flashing, but it's really loud. Like it's as if like it's a smaller town with like you just hear noise and just everyone just riled up yelling. Like you can assume that it's kind of similar noises that you would hear when you guys were at the tavern, most likely gambling and partying going on in the city. And as you approach and you kind of walk into the town, you see two giant crabs kind of arguing with each other, and they're kind of just pushing each other, basically in front of the group of you. Hey, I told you not to gamble as much as I told you to. You lost all of our winnings for the year. I told you, you leave me alone. I can gamble as much as I want. You get. And then they both turn around. They both look at the group. Whoa, welcome to Clamville. And they kind of go up to the group. How is everybody here? Hey, first time in Clamville, I can tell.
How can you tell?
I can always tell when people, they don't seem to look like you're the part, I guess you could say. And they're wearing like their clothes are like completely like tattered. Like the one crab has kind of like a shirt over just its claw, and the other one and kind of like a hat on the side. It looks like basically clothes that don't belong to them. I can tell you guys are a little bit too fancy for being around here. Hey, leave them alone. Don't bother them. And so you guys wouldn't happen to be able to spare a few dollars for a crab like me, would you? I seem to have lost my way in one of the taverns over there, and I'd like to get myself a bite to eat if I could for the night.
Gilliam will reach down and grab his coin pouch and stuff it in his gills.
So you're just like hiding your so Gillian reaches down and grabs his little coin purse and shoves it into the left side of his gills, and still breathing from the right, but from the left you can see that it's clearly covered. So what do you say? You can spare a few little bit of dollars for me and my friend here?
Why should we do that?
I can see you haven't been to Clamville before. And they both snap their claws like really tight.
So
You should just ask the pond. The pond will provide all you need. Food, shelter. There's no need for money and coin.
Do you wish to fight us, stranger?
Oh, I'm not asking to fight. I'm just saying if you can spare a few dollars, we won't have a problem.
I might be able to spare some money for information.
Information? On what?
We're looking for someone.
Sure. If you want to hand me a few bucks, I'll tell you what you need to know.
why don't you tell us first?
That's not how it works around here.
Yeah,
Well, it's gonna.
And as soon as they both look at each other and they go tick, 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 and they begin to like snap their claws like rapidly. And behind you guys are two other crabs that appear. I don't think you understand how it works in Clamville here. And the two guys, there's two little, kind of a little bit smaller than these guys, little crab guys behind you, and they're kind of just like, and they're kind of just snapping their claws along with this.
Mr. Monk will draw his daggers.
I will pull out my longsword and Triton and
Whoa.
say,
Whoa.
I think I do know how it works around here.
Whoa. Now, I'm just saying, a few dollars get you a little bit of information. What do you say?
Well,
No, thank you.
we're looking for a friend of Ralph.
This is a waste of time, Rock. Let us leave
Yeah,
now.
I think we should just continue on.
I feel
Perhaps
like
we shall murder them.
we should avoid combat if we can.
And as you guys try to I'm assuming you guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves, but they're kind of, as you guys are talking, they're slowly, you can kind of tell that they're slowly pushing their way to the center of your circle. They're basically making you guys have your backs to each other as you guys look at the circle of four, or well, not circle, but these 4 crabs kind of surround each of you.
I put my Triton right in one of their faces.
Yeah, I point my daggers at them.
And I will point my my.
You can
driftwood
stay
flag
back.
at them.
Well, I guess we'll have to get our earnings some other way. Hey, Bill. I guess we will. And then roll for initiative.
Okay. Oof. Woof. Oof.
18.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Oh no.
Do you want us to do? Are you do it the same way I do it, Travi?
What's that? I'm gonna do I'm gonna do the wonder thing. Just give me 1 second. I just gotta get your.
I just want to make sure. Excited.
Okay, so we'll do 1 to 5.
A 1 to 5?
Yeah.
2.
2. Okay, 5 to 10.
6.
I also got 6.
I got 8.
Okay. And then 10 to 15.
11.
Oh God.
And then obviously higher than that. 15 to 20.
18.
18, okay.
Good on your Poe.
Yeah, she's the shit.
Yeah, she's ready for it. Where all of us are just kind of like, oh.
Okay. Okay, so for both of your characters, because I believe that Ocho and Mr. Muck, I think you guys rolled the same. You said, right?
Yeah.
So you guys can before your turns just talk about what you think you want to do this turn, and then quickly, as long as you decided to take them together, you could if you like. If you don't have to, if you don't want to though. Okay, so the first up would be I believe it was Poe.
So I already have my Triton in my one hand, and it's right in one of their faces.
Yep.
So I'll just attack them with it.
Okay, so basically, before we start the battle, you six are kind of just, you made us a little circle. So around, maybe I want to say, I guess if you're making a circle with the sizes that you guys are, you're not going to take up much bigger than a 5.5, maybe like a 10-foot little square, but you're making a little circle around it kind of thing. And around there you have, on kind of one corner of the circle, you have one crab, another corner, and you're kind of making almost like a square outside of your circle of these crabs kind of homing in. So I will say that in front of you, Poe, you have one directly in front of you because you're on one of the corners. So if you can imagine that it's right on the corner of this circle, you're kind of just pointing at, you're just got little trident right to the crab's face. And then on the other side, you have you on I would say the top left corner, kind of poking the trident at one of the crab. In the middle, directly to your right, you have Phileas, and then to the right of that has another crab right in front of them, is Ocho, and then another one going further down to the right, you have another one in the middle, which would be Gilliam, and then you have Mr. Muck has one kind of just right in front of him, and you have Rockstar that has another one in front of him as well too. Okay, so you have your trident right kind of to the throat of this crab. Are you gonna?
Yeah, and I rolled a 19 to hit.
You rolled a 19 to hit, so that hits. Yep. So roll for
And
damage.
that's 8 damage.
8 damage. Okay.
And then I get a second attack.
Okay.
Also 19 to hit, and this
Wait,
is with my long
Do you get a second
sword.
attack at level 1?
Yeah, because I'm a 2-weapon fighter.
Using a bonus action, I understand.
Okay, so let's just see. Okay. Roll for damage.
9.
9 damage there.
Oh, wait, did you roll the hit on that one? Or no?
Yeah,
I
19.
rolled a 19.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. So so damn. What is at level 1 you're doing 8 damage and then 9 damage? Damn. Okay. So as the crab kind of like almost pushes itself into your trident, you manage to just stick it right through the throat as if it just had no idea what was going to become of this. So through its little bit of shell that it has kind of guarding, you manage to stick the trident right into it and pierce it with another swing coming from the right hand side, and you manage to kind of just chop right through its right claw, and its claw falls on the ground, and the crab falls onto the ground. And you can tell that there's a bunch of like blue and guts spilling out of the side all onto the floor next to you. And next up is the one that is right in front of Rockstar. And is going to do a claw attack directly at Rockstar. And that is a 18.
Hit.
All right. So it grabs its claw and it's going to try to hit you and then also grapple you at the same time. So 1d6. So that is 4 bludgeoning, and you are currently grappled. It has its other claw still available, so you're currently grappled inside of its one claw, like its right hand claw. So you'd have to roll a DC 11 to get out of that. So next up is the crab that is in front of, I believe I said it was in front of Mr. Muck, I believe. And this one is going to do the same thing and go for attack. And it rolled an at 1. All right. So
I duck nimbly.
so it goes for the claw attack, and you manage to just duck right under it, and it misses. Next up is Gilliam.
All right. So Gilliam will reach into his pocket and he'll pull out like a very small pearl. And he will take that pearl and he will rub it on the side of his staff. And he'll look at the crowd that's right in front of him and he'll say, "Hear the sound of death." And then he will cast dead on it.
Sorry, dead?
Toll the dead, yeah.
Toll the dead. Okay. I was going to say dead.
Yeah, I cast dead on him.
Toll the dead.
He should
Okay.
be dead then.
Yeah.
You have to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled a 5.
Okay, so you fail, so you'll take 1d8 damage.
Okay.
So 4 damage.
4 damage. Okay. So does Toll the Dead kind of just like fill his mind with like nightmares and stuff?
He hears like a bell.
He hears like a bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like a bell,
So this crab that is staring right down the eyes of Gilliam, you were rubbing it on you took your pearl out, I believe you said, and rubbed it on your
yeah,
What's this?
on my
your staff. Okay. So as it stares you down, Gilliam reaches into his bag and begins to rub this shiny pearl on his staff. And as he's rubbing it, it's as if like you're rubbing your finger along the outside of a wine glass, and the sound begins to like get louder and louder and louder, and before it's ear piercing. And you can tell this crab is doing like that, where like it's like eyes are like shutting in and out, and it managed to do a little bit of damage to it. Are you doing anything else on your turn? Are you gonna?
No, that's it.
Okay. So next up is the crab that is standing in front of you, and it's going to return the attack. It's going to return the attack on you after it just had its mind almost melded, and it did 22 to hit.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So once again, it's going to go for a claw attack, and we will see what we do. So that's 3 bludgeoning, and you are now grappled in its hands.
Okay.
All right. So when these grapple, they have kind of like think of like their crab. Their one right hand is massive, and that's what you can tell that they're using to attack and grapple with. And their other like left claw is more of like a smaller claw, similar to the ones that you would see on Banjo-Kazooie that are walking around. And it's kind of same little style. So right now we have you that is grappled, Gilliam, and we also have Rockstar that I believe is currently grappled as well. Is it Rockstar or was it Rockstar that was grappled?
Yeah, you said rock.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Phileas.
Phileas. So, how close is the grappled Gilliam to me?
So you guys are standing, as I mentioned, in like a circle. So you could pretty much like reach your. I mean, you're not. It's a 5-foot thing, so you're not going to be able to reach back and grab it. Yeah, but you're pretty much beside them. So if you want, you can. You're close enough that even if they were right across the circle from you, you could still go over and grab them if you needed to.
Okay. I am going to hit my staff, my driftwood staff, against the mud, and it'll almost like ripple against it. And behind Gilliam, you'll see. Behind the crab that's grappling you, a tentacle of sand and mud is going to raise up from the ground and smack out at the crab grappling you.
Okay.
And I'm using my grasp of the death class feature. So that's going to be a 13 to hit.
Yep.
That hits?
Yep.
And I'm only doing 1 cold damage as the tentacle like whacks against the back of its head.
All right. And this is one that has him grappled. Okay. So 1 cold damage.
And then I'm going to go down with one of my hands and grab mud from the earth and just throw it at his face.
Okay.
And with that, I will cast Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
And that is going to be another 13 to hit, actually.
Yep.
Okay. And that is going to be 4
All
force
right.
damage as the mud splatters against his face.
All right. Okay, so Phileas manages to force his staff into the ground, and just behind the crab, without him even noticing, comes out a tentacle and swipes him across the face, causing a little bit of ice to kind of form on the side of his. It was ice damage, you said, right?
Yep, cool.
Yeah, a little bit of ice to form on the left side of its face as it's shakes it off and the frost begins to fade. When just out of nowhere, a bunch of mud splits all over its face and covers its eyes, but he's still holding on to. He's still managing to hold on to Gilliam and contain the grapple. Next up is the crab on the other side that is in front of Ocho. So he's going to go at. He's going to try to attack Ocho.
Okay.
And that is a 20.
That hits.
All right.
Miss.
And that is 7 bludgeoning damage. So he grapples onto you as hard as he can, and you can feel like his little pincers kind of squeezing, and the little bits of the sharp parts of his claws begin to kind of go into your skin as he does 7 bludgeoning damage, and you are now grappled. And next up is Mr. Muck.
All right. Can I reach the one grappling Ocho?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, you guys are in a small circle around each other with your backs almost turned to each other. So if you want, you can go. Right now, all 3 of them have people grappled. So there is no. Their left hand claw is like really tiny, so they're not gonna. If you decide to move back just slightly, they're not gonna be able to do an attack of opportunity to you because they're holding somebody. Plus, their other claw is very tiny. So you would have to be
Okay.
right in front of them.
Okay, I'm going to rush at the one that has Ocho grappled
Okay.
and lash out with my daggers.
Save me.
Daggers. I rolled a 15.
Nice hit.
Okay, and I get sneak attack damage.
You do.
So that's a lot.
What are we talking here?
This 13 piercing damage.
What? Really?
I have sneak attack.
All right. So Mr. Muck, if Mr. Muck, you're a axolotl, or is it like a little
Axolotl, yeah.
axolotl? I'm trying to picture like what it looks like for everybody listening. It'd be almost like a little
salamander.
a little salamander,
With,
little
like,
thing,
out-
right? Yeah,
outer gill frills.
exactly. So Mr. Muck manages to fall basically into the sand underneath, and he could feel whose feet are in his party, and he can tell that right above him is Ocho, grappled by this sea urchin, not giant crab, but large enough crab, and he manages to find exactly where the crab is standing right above him. And what do you have as weapons?
They're daggers,
They're
but I think
daggers.
they're like little rusted knives
Okay.
that he found on the seafloor.
And you manage to appear right behind him, and you take both daggers and pierce right into the crab's shell, and the crab releases his grapple as it falls back.
Yes, and I will say, I warned you, friend.
All right. So Ocho is no longer grappled. Next up is Ocho. So now Ocho, you're just recovering from having your body squeezed together.
Okay, so I am going to turn to. So that crab is still alive, though, right?
No, it's dead. He killed
Oh,
him.
it's dead. Okay. So I'm going to turn to another one of the crabs that is grappling one of my companions.
Yep. Which one? There's only two crabs left, and they're both grappling. One is grappling Gilliam, and the other one is grappling Rockstar.
Which one is closest?
To you, because you're standing closest to Rockstar, so that's if you want to go. You can go for either one. It's really up to you, because as I mentioned before, you're all standing a little bit close.
Well,
to
I
each
guess
other.
I'll do the further away one. And I will use Thorn Whip.
Okay.
Ooh.
So out of the tip of one of my tentacles, the stem of a plant with thorns. So we'll say it's seaweed with some like sharp barnacles on it.
Okay.
Cool.
Will come out of the end of my tentacle and lash towards that crab.
Okay.
So we'll roll to hit. 14.
Yep, that hits.
Okay, and then I'm rolling 1d6 piercing damage.
Okay. So just to clarify, you're going for the one that is grappling Gilliam right now, correct?
The further away one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So that was 3.
3. All right.
And
So-
then do I only get the one attack?
does your
You can only cast one spell unless you have a cantrip.
That was a
Yeah.
cantrip she used.
That was a
unless you have a
cantrip.
bonus action.
So,
to
yeah.
use.
Okay, so part of this spell is that if the creature would you classify this as a large, medium, or small creature?
let me see here.
It would be medium.
I
if
think
the
it's
same
medium
size as
beast.
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
medium beast.
creature is pulled 10 feet closer to me,
Okay. So
and then I get a bonus action. So
all right. So Ocho, the little tiny little squid druid, looks tiny, but she kind of waves her little tentacles just like in Finding Nemo, and she releases a little like a tentacle as if it's like a elastic arm out, and kind of just stabs with a little sharp little. Was it a poison that you did, or was it what kind of damage was it?
no, it is piercing damage.
Piercing damage. Okay.
Magical piercing.
Stabs the claw of the one that is holding onto Gilliam, and he releases it as he gets pulled right back towards Ocho, and now is standing in front of you. One eye is basically completely closed as it's trying to like stand, and it's struggling to stand on its little crab little feet.
So I'm going to. I have in one of my in my other tentacle, I'm holding a small hammer.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and crack its shell with my.
Okay. All right.
So I'll roll to hit. 16.
All right, that hits. Yeah.
Okay, and then it is 1d4. So 4 damage.
All right. So with the little hammer that comes out, it kind of almost looks like shell crackers that you would use to crack the shell of a crab before you dip it into the butter. Manages to crack it, and you can see that it reveals the juicy meat on the inside of the crab as the crab falls over it and dies. And now it is you are grappled. However, it is your turn, Rockstar.
Could I try to break my grapple?
Yep.
19.
So it says escape is DC 11, so that would be correct, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
So you managed to and get yourself out of the hands of these claws, or sorry, the claws of the crab.
No, that was my action, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna say help me, and I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna move behind somebody.
So you got out of the crab, but you're gonna step away from the crab.
Yes.
All right, so he'll get an attack of opportunity on you because now his big claw is free, right? So that's what he uses to attack. His small claw he can't. So he will do an attack of opportunity on you, and that is a 19.
Hit.
And that is 5 bludgeoning, and he's got you back in his grasp again. So you get out, and then you try to run away to the group, and he's got you again. All right. Next up is Poe.
Okay, what's the nearest bad guy?
There's only one left alive. You've the rest of the group has managed to kill and crack open any of the other crabs except for the one that is currently grappled onto Rockstar right now.
Okay, I'll attack that one.
The one that is alive right now is the one that originally came up to you guys and told you guys to give him money as well too. So you're gonna go attack that one? Okay.
Yeah, my first swing doesn't hit, but my bonus action does.
Okay.
At 18.
Sorry, 18. Yep. So, and then roll for damage.
8 damage.
8 damage. All right. So, and that's using, what are you using to hit with?
That was my longsword.
That was your longsword? Okay. So, seeing as this crab currently has Rockstar grappled, you run over to it and you midair swinging, and you basically just slice right through the crab's hand that is currently holding onto and grappling onto Rockstar as it just watches its giant crab arm fall onto the ground, and you can just hear like a, and it just tries to scuttle away out of the group to run away as it looks around to all of its crab friends dead around him, and he's beginning to scuttle away. So he lets go of, like, his crab basically arm is still grappled, but it just releases off of you, Rockstar, and he's trying to get away. Are you guys going to try to I'll give Rockstar attack of opportunity on him, and the same with Poe, because you guys are like basically right in front of him. Do you want to kill him as he's running away, or what would you like to do?
I can try and attack him.
Okay.
I'll try to as well.
Okay. All right, so
I miss.
You miss. And Rockstar?
I can use a cantrip as an attack of opportunity, right? Or no?
Unless you have Warcaster.
Oh, okay. Then with the mace, that is 14.
Yep, that hits. Roll for damage.
3.
3. Okay. So just as he starts, he watches his arm and he goes to reach with so he sees his giant crab arm on the ground just sitting there, and he's trying to grab it behind him, just to see if he can just at least grab it and bring it along with him. He goes to reach for it, and boom, you take your mace out and you just slam it right into his other little small claw hand, and he releases his big claw on the ground and runs away. And so he is now escaped, and he just ran back into Clamville. And in front of you is just 3 dead crabs, and you have what is left over of a giant crab arm.
Troublesome.
Victory.
Well, at least we have a lot of crab meat.
That was a piece of cake.
Yeah, I'll loot their bodies.
Okay. So roll for investigation then.
Sure. I rolled a 4.
Okay. You
Is
find.
investigation int?
Sorry.
Hang on.
Intelligence.
Let me look at my character sheet really quick. So I have +7 to it, so 11 total.
11. Okay. So you obviously, the one that looked like he was the one basically holding most of, because he was out most likely robbing people, the one that got away. He only had his claw there, so you don't see anything, on his one big hand. The other ones that are dead, as I mentioned before, you can see their tattered clothing that they most likely stole or had from other fish that they've maybe robbed from. And they're just like tattered shirts and tattered hats and stuff. There is the one that was next to. I believe it was, whose grapple was it? It was you, Gilliam. Okay, so the one that was in front of you, Gilliam, you managed to look through all of his wares and see if you can find anything. And the bottom of his little sack, you're able to find that he has left 1 silver coin that most likely he did not gamble, or he left for, in case of emergencies. So it was very, very bottom of his little backpack.
Cool.
Couple of jerks. They could have just let us pass.
All townsfolk are the same. Greedy. They've lost their ways.
That really hurt.
Well, I just hope one of these people weren't Gilly. We should probably head in.
Ocho is looking at all her tentacles, and she's pretty bruised up.
As you guys are basically standing there, brushing yourself off, you can see like people walking past you, and they're just not even blinking an eye. Like they look at you guys, and they look at the dead crabs on the ground, and it's kind of like stuff that they've seen before. They're just kind of like not fazed by it whatsoever.
It's like a town full of outlaws. My gosh.
At least we aren't outlaws.
I like it.
So are you guys going to approach into the town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll harvest some crab meat first, though.
Oh, you are? Okay. So... All right. Yep. So how are you going to grab... Let me just put that down. Which one are you just grabbing the crab meat from every single one of them?
No, just a little bit. Nothing crazy.
Okay. All right. So you now have some crab meat. All right. So you're going to go, and you guys begin to find your way into the town. And as you do, you see a bunch of little, like I said, as I mentioned before, you see a bunch of little empty clam shells, and you see a bunch of like seashells, just, a little bit of lights on the inside of them. You can hear noises echoing outside of the shells. And, there's so many different little houses, which there are no doors to. Pretty much just open shells. I don't think, nothing looks fancy enough to have a door in front of it. However, there is one shell that does have 2 little fish with little tiny little swords standing outside of it, and they're just talking to each other and handing back little morsels of seaweed to each other, and they're standing in front of a door.
Should we just blast our way in?
Yes.
Do we have to blast in?
I think we should not get into combat. Maybe take it easy.
I am very hurt. I cannot fight again right now.
I agree.
I can speak with them, see if that will help.
Sorry, you're gonna.
Yeah, go do that.
Would anyone like to come?
You got this, snail.
I'll follow close behind just in case you need support.
Thank
So-
you.
You're gonna walk up to the little.
We'll snail on up.
All right. So, little tiny Phileas kind of waddles his way up, and leaves little snail trail behind, and you approach in front of these two little guards, kind of fighting over like a beef jerky version of, seaweed. And as they're kind of like, oh,
Greetings.
only one customer allowed inside at a time. Take your one at a time. Are you coming in first before the other ones? Or who's coming in
This
first?
is my support worker, Catfish.
Only
I
one.
need him.
Only one customer allowed in at a time. Only one customer.
He is the same as me.
No, only one customer. Why are they not understanding what I'm saying? Maybe they don't speak. Don't they not
Well-
speak fish?
Why only one at a time?
I don't think they speak fish.
Why only one?
Hold on a second. And they like kind of. And then you see one go into the back room. Go into the shell, and as the one stands there, and basically they're both blocking the way. Now he steps into the middle. I said only one customer allowed inside at a time. I don't
Yes, I
understand.
asked why.
It's just a lot of things in there that we don't want to have stolen from us. So are you going in first, or which one of your group wants to go in first?
We're not thieves.
I don't think you've been around Clamville very long. I don't think you understand.
I am a thief. Master thief.
And he begins to like walk back into the shell, and you just hear, "Ah!" And as soon as he does that, you guys can roll. Who's standing in front of you right now? Like, who's in the very front? I think probably Phileas, right?
I thought it was Phileas and then me behind him.
So Phileas and Gilliam, you guys, because you're taller, you're way taller than Phileas is, so you can just basically see over top of him anyways. Just roll like perception.
17.
Okay, and Gilliam.
9 plus perception. You said 2, so 11.
Okay, so Phileas, you're able to see this. Gilliam. So Gilliam, you see basically all the one that was still standing in the door. He was still in front of you guys for a few seconds, but his other friend kind of ran into the back room and kind of just was waving his arms like, "Ugh," and you just see the other one that was just left in front of you run back and squeal. But Phileas, you can tell in the back that they are instructing people that are in the back, that are in this little establishment to kind of, come out and help them out kind of thing. And as they do, you see about 10 of these little tiny little fish with little tiny little daggers. And they're like, we don't need any more people trying to come here and rob things. We've already been robbed earlier today. As I mentioned before, one customer, or we're not going to have another.
How about we don't even come in? I can ask questions here.
What kind of questions would you want to ask at a simple little store such as this? Are you here to buy pearls, or are you here to? I am so confused. And you can tell by looking now that this is not a tavern that you walked into. It's a little tiny little shop, and behind them is like pearls just sitting there on like a beautiful line with little price tags in front of them.
Gilliam, I believe this is a waste of time.
Yeah, it looks like this is the wrong location. Bye.
I would like to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay. So you guys are just walking right out of this shop now.
I wanted to ask, could you instruct us towards a gambling den of sorts?
You come, and they just shake their head, and they're not responding to you.
Okay. Then I'll just walk away.
Ocho will be just kind of like laying in the sand and like looking pretty sad and beat up. She
Okay.
only has 2 hit points.
Perhaps we should find somewhere to rest.
I'm good.
How much did you heal for, Rockstar?
10.
10. Oh, okay. So, are you guys looking for a place to Are you guys looking for a place to rest, or what are you guys doing at this point?
What time of day is it?
So when you guys arrived here, I mean, it's a pond, right? So you can still see the sun is, beating down on the pond, but it's a lot less light than what it was earlier today. So, in fish terms, it's probably getting close to feeding time.
So, just point of clarification here, DM. I did take the keen mind feat, so I am always 100% aware of what time of day it is.
Oh, okay. So you can tell that it's probably around like like 6 or 7 in the afternoon, and it's the reason why the town is so energetic is because they're getting ready to feed. Like it's nighttime and they're hungry.
Yeah, I think it's about nighttime, or will be soon. It's time to eat now. Is that how fish tell time, by the way? Do they go by that, like, say, feeding time? And
I mean, I think fish are generally like active super like early in the morning, and then and then just before the sun goes down, and then at nighttime they're just kind of just doing their own thing. They're just sleeping more, while fishing around.
Yeah, but so in terms of your world, though, like, how would they describe the time? Would they say like feeding time?
Yeah, they go by feeding time and morning feeding time. They don't have a time. It's night. It's afternoon feeding time and morning feeding time.
Sure. Yeah, it's about night feeding time, so we should probably look for some food and a place to rest.
Let's see.
Let's head out then.
I'll go over and heal Ochoa again as well.
Okay, so are you guys trying to find a place to rest, or are you just healing like in the middle of like this little town?
Rest, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can see in the town they have like a giant clamshell, and every few minutes the clamshell opens and it shows you like a little map. And the map kind of shows you like where a few places in the town are. And it's just like, and then it closes back down again, and then opens.
Like,
and
like the
closes.
mall guide.
Yeah, exactly. But it just opens up.
Does
when
it say you are here?
It's basically when the clam is like breathing, like it and like it opens and it just shows you where you. I'll say that it has like a little X marked out of like a knife point, not with any marker, so you can tell where you are located. And behind you, where you guys attempted to walk in and for some odd reason, Mr. Muck decided to tell him that he was a thief, was the world-class Clamville clamshell pearl essence shop. So it is a pearl shop that you were basically trying to rob 2 minutes ago, and that's why they had all the guards in front of it. To your left, you can see that it just says the bunch of like scritchy scratchy stuff, and like you can't really read the writing, but it says tavern on the left hand side, and you see the sleeping willows in the far back. So basically behind where the establishment that you're just standing in front of with like all of the pearls and stuff is right behind there. It's called the Sleeping Willows.
This seems like an appropriate place.
Yeah, I feel like the Sleeping Willow would be a good place to go.
I do feel sleepy.
So
I mean, like I said, Ocho's pretty hurt, so she's just kind of like floating along towards somewhere to rest.
You
okay,
got 6 health from me.
all right. So you guys go into the Sleeping Willows, and basically when you go there, it's a small little shell. The shell is there's really just like a desk, and you just have one person standing behind there, and behind them you can see people sleeping in seaweed hammocks. You're still inside of the pond, so you're still breathing underwater, but every time you can see people going into the back, and the seaweed picks them up and forms kind of like a hammock between one piece of seaweed and another piece of seaweed, and they're all just sleeping. So it's not really like a one room, it's kind of just like you're sleeping behind this area, and it's it's not like the fanciest thing, but I mean, you're sleeping in
It's a
seaweed.
hostel.
Yeah, exactly. So, hello and welcome to the establishment. How can I help you? And would I interested you in some of our beds here?
Yes.
Yes, can I have a double bed, please?
Oh,
For
for,
me,
sh-
my man.
for sure, for
Yes,
sure.
this would please me.
And she snaps
It-
her fish fins together, and it sends a wave out, and two giant seaweed pieces form together to make a queen bed of seaweed. Well, as I meant, sorry, I didn't believe I mentioned the price yet, but I'll tell you what. You look new to the city, so in the morning, how about we negotiate the price in the morning? Does that sound okay, dear? And she's speaking directly to Poe, because Poe approached the table first.
Sure.
Welcome to the Sleeping Willows, everyone, and enjoy your rest. And that's where we're going to end this session.
Woo! Yay!
It's the Sleeping Willows. So that is the end of episode 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, these are hour-long episodes, or somewhat. This one went over a little bit. Hope you guys had a fun time listening. And our first episode's on Spotify, and they're gonna be on YouTube soon. So hope you guys enjoyed listening and enjoyed playing as well too.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, guys.
That was good.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.